Hi class, this is Husky Group 3, and my name is Bingbing. My teammates are Hao and Minghan, and our project is about a very serious social, political, economical, and criminal problem. We're using AI in analytics to help civilians know more about police brutality and fatal shooting cases for protecting themselves. Next. We're using millions of records from multiple data sources, including numerical, categorical, as well as text data. And we found data from Bureau of Census, police department, local government, and also we have data, revenue and poverty and equipment purchase data. We have 5 main parts. The first one is the introduction, and then followed by exploratory data analysis, data preparation, and our predictive model. The last but not least is the results and our recommendation. So let's get started. Actually, we probably all heard about the George Floyd case a few months ago. A white police officer killed a black man named George Floyd during the arrest process. And the police brutality is an extremely serious case in the United States and also around the world. They use illegal force against civilians in different forms and cause irreparable tragedies. Next. And then we analyzed our dataset, and based on our research, we can see the gunshot cases are happening everywhere in the States. Next. About the specific cities, especially the fatal cases are in Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago, and Phoenix, where we can see the crime rate is relatively higher than other cities. Next. Well, astonishingly, there were actually approximately 1,000 of fatal forces cases every year, and almost 80 people will die from police brutality every month. Next, please. Also, according to our time series data visualization, and we can see in 2013, 2015, and 2018, there was a peak of fatal cases. And also, those cases happened in January and July more frequently than the other months. Next. We also noticed the average age of black people were killed by police is relatively younger than other races. So we can see the right picture of the George Floyd was killed by the police in the mission, and there is a racial bias among the police brutality cases. Next. Then, in general, the most affected age group is between 20 and 30 years old, younger generation. And there were more black people was killed in the Chicago and Houston. Next. We can see from our data visualization, the number of deaths remain high since 2015. And most of the victims don't even have mental illness or didn't flee while being arrested or killed. So this is the EDA part, and next, my teammate Brady will introduce the data preparation and time series model.
Hello, I'm Brady. We come to the data processing part. And we select 9 data bins from our data source to deal with our business problem. And you can see this is X, Y, how we build and select which variables for that. We select the variables and just extract the year data and only use the data starting from 2000 years. And we also merge new data sets for using. We also combine vectoring information in Excel and using Python code. This is just for time series analysis and the cruises of death prediction. Okay, we use the time series model to predict data to 2025. The first step of our time series model, we do a differencing work or it eliminates some fluctuation of our data and to stabilize the data for our modeling building. And step 2 is split the data into test and trim in 3 to 7 ratio. And we plot the each variable in data sets into graphs. And we can see the equipment purchase data has a larger number than other variables. And step 3, we use 4 different types of time series model, both in the auto regression model and moving average model. We collected the RMS value of the 4 models and want to choose the best one for predicting. And finally, we found the hot winters model. It's has the lowest RMS value, so we want to use it to predict. And we predict the data with the 4 variables: the equipment purchase, poverty rate, police deaths, and state revenue. According to predicting results of these 4 graphs, we can find that the police deaths has a negative relationship with state revenue and the equipment purchase, but it has a positive relationship with the poverty rate. So according to this, we want to suggest the government should spend more money from state revenue on equipment purchase to keep the police deaths and the poverty rate in a lower level. Okay, this is the time series model part. So next part is Azure Machine Learning Studio.
Hello everyone. Next I'm going to talk about the Machine Learning Studio models, which are the classification models to predict the cause of death for the suspect in some police actions. This is a schema of the police actions of the model building. First we import the data. Next we select the columns and selected and cleaning the missing value. Next we added the metadata and do the one-hot encoding and normalization. After that we build the 3 models. The first one is decision forest, and second is decision jungle, and third is decision logistic regression. Those are the 3 first models, and after that we do the hyperparameter tuning for those 3 models. This is a model selection in Azure. We dropped some columns because they contains too many missing values. This is a data type conversion in Azure. We use the Python script node in Azure. In this step, we clean the missing data in Azure. We used the MICE method, which used the correlations among those columns to fill in the missing value. We think this method is more objective than other methods in this case. Next, we added the metadata in Azure. We labeled some categorical and numerical data and set the cause of death columns to be the label to be predicted. Next, we did the one-hot encoder and normalization in Azure to create dummy variables and make sure all the numerical data are in the range from 0 to 1. Next, we split the train and test the data. We selected 80% of data to be the training data set. This is the classification model building in Azure. According to the performance of each models, the Decision Jungle model has the highest accuracy score, so this model performs better. After the hyperparameter tuning, we can also see the Decision Jungle model has the highest performance, and in this case, it could predict more classes in the for the original dataset. Next, we deploy the web service in Azure, and after that, we use the RESTful API to connect to the web service. This time, we use the request and response API, in which we used one JSON record and get one JSON response from the web service. The web service could be seen here. In this response, each label were given a probability of being used in a place action, and the gunshot had the highest probability, so the model predicted the cause of death in this case as gunshot. Next, we are still working on using the batch API, which could take in a whole CSV file and give us responses for all the records in the meantime. But we keep meeting this error, this column type error, so we will try to fix it in the next step. After that, I like to give some recommendations. Some interventions could help to reduce fatal shooting risks, racism, and rein in the use of unnecessary force. Police pre-training and education should focus in certain cities. LA, Houston, Chicago. According to predicting results, governments should spend more revenue on equipment purchase to keep police death and poverty rate in low level between 2021 and 2025. Gunshot was the main reason for suspects' deaths in police actions. Government should enact more regulations related to gun usage in those actions. This is the reference. Thank you very much.